Okay, let's dive right in today, but maybe approach it a little differently this time. We're going to turn the focus inward, like right now. Forget the notes, the articles for a second. Just tune into the most immediate thing we have, which is, our own body.
Yes, exactly. Our deep dive today isn't really about analyzing something out there. It's about feeling into the tension in here. We spend so much effort, don't we, telling ourselves intellectually, okay, I've moved on. We think we've done the work, deleted the photos, maybe changed jobs, said the affirmations, like we've performed the release.
Oh, I know that performance.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
It's like putting on a show for everyone, including yourself. I'm fine, totally fine, it's all in the past. But then there's this other truth, isn't there? Something your body is holding on to, even your mind says it's done.
And that tension, that's the signpost. It's fascinating. The mind writes this whole story of freedom, but the body, it faithfully keeps the real score, physically. So I want to invite you, listening right now, just to check in. Don't try to fix anything. Just notice. Where are you gripping? Is it your jaw, maybe holding words back? Or your shoulders kind of braced for something that isn't actually happening? Could be a tight fist, or maybe your breath feels shallow, caught in your belly or your throat.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, shoulders immediately went up towards my ears. I didn't even realize until you just said it.
Yeah.
And normally I just call that tension, stress, or maybe just a bad habit. But what we're exploring here is that this chronic grip, this clench, it's not random. It's being called unfinished business.
That's the core idea, yeah. It's the part of you that never quite got permission or maybe never felt safe enough to fully feel whatever it needed to feel back then. So the real work, the real starting point, isn't when we declare, okay, I've let go. It's often in that moment when the body kind of lovingly, faithfully betrays that story, reminds you, hang on, the energy here hasn't actually moved yet.
That betrayal, as you call it, it feels tough because it bumps right up against this huge societal pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're just bombarded with get over it already, move on, positive vibes only.
Yeah.
So if you're still hurting, it feels like you're doing something wrong, failing somehow. And so we learn to fake it. We rehearse saying, oh, that doesn't hurt anymore.
Right, and that performance, it creates this internal split, this conflict. But what's really interesting from the Gestalt perspective we're drawing on is how we can reframe that holding. We don't need to pathologize it. We don't label it as wrong or sick. Instead, we phenomenologize it.
Phenomenologize. Okay, that's a big word. Can you break that down a bit? What does that mean in practice?
It simply means we set aside judgment completely. We stop trying to figure out why or diagnose the problem, and instead, we just describe the experience exactly as it is right now. So the question shifts from that slightly shaming, why can't you just let go, to something much more curious, more validating. What are you holding? And what does it need from you right now just to be seen, to be acknowledged?
That shift feels huge because it validates the grip, right? Instead of making you feel bad about it, it honors that maybe the clench isn't just stubbornness, maybe it's a form of protection.
Precisely, it's protective. And this leads us straight into this paradox of letting go. We usually think of releasing something as an act of will, like muscling through it, forcing the door open, but real letting go, it's more like a process, a rhythm that unfolds naturally when we create the right conditions, when we allow it. And the key insight, which can feel counterintuitive, is this. To truly release something, you often have to first be willing to fully hold it, to really feel what's there.
Yeah, and that's the bit we skip, isn't it? Because feeling the full weight of the loss or the anger or the grief, it feels terrifying. Like if we really let ourselves hold it, we might actually drown in it.
We skip it because we're scared of the intensity, absolutely, scared of the pain. But the proof that we skipped that crucial step, it pops up all the time. A certain song comes on the radio or you catch scent, or even just a specific kind of silence, and bam, your whole system reacts. Chest tightens, breath catches, maybe your stomach just drops.
And that reaction, that instant physical thing, that's not you failing or going backwards. It's not regression. It's like a message, right? A revelation.
Absolutely. It's your organism, your whole being saying, hey, we need to finish this.
Yeah.
It's trying to complete an interrupted cycle. It's trying to finally speak the end of a sentence that got cut off or truly mourn a loss that was maybe pushed aside too quickly.
Yeah.
The body is just faithfully reminding the mind, we're still here with this.
Okay, so if the body is trying to complete something, we should probably understand what that natural cycle looks like. And maybe more importantly, where we tend to, interrupt it for ourselves.
Yes, let's trace that flow. It's sometimes called the cycle of experience. Think of it as a natural emotional rhythm. It starts with sensation, just the raw data, maybe a tingling heat, tightness somewhere. Then comes awareness. You start to recognize what that sensation is. Oh, okay, that's fear, or that feels like longing. This naturally leads to mobilization. The energy of that feeling starts to build up, preparing you for something.
Mobilization, right? That's where you feel the energy rising, like wanting to run or needing to yell or reaching out.
Yeah. Exactly. And from that mobilized energy comes action. The actual physical expression, maybe it is shouting or crying or running or speaking your truth. Then there's contact. You engage with the environment or yourself through that action. You make the call, you feel the tears. This hopefully leads to satisfaction, a sense that the energy moved, the need was met, something resolved. And finally, withdrawal or rest. You integrate, settle, ready for the next thing. Now, most of the chronic stuff we carry, the unfinished business, comes from breaking that rhythm, usually somewhere between mobilization, feeling the energy rise, and action, letting it express.
The interruption point.
Yeah.
Okay, I can instantly see my own pattern there. I often feel that build up, the mobilization of anger or maybe frustration. I feel the heat, but then I swallow it right before it gets to my voice. I block the action. Or maybe if I feel a deep longing for connection, I might quickly label it, oh, that's just neediness, and shut the energy down before you even think about reaching out.
And that block, it doesn't just vanish into thin air. When you swallow the scream or hold back the tears or stifle the reach, that energy has to go somewhere. It kind of solidifies. It becomes structure, muscle memory in the jaw, a habitually tight chest, a guarded posture. That physical block is what holds the emotional story frozen in time, letting you keep telling yourself, no, really, I'm over it.
But we need to be gentle here, right?
Yeah.
Because that block wasn't put there maliciously. It served a purpose. This brings us to that idea of the creative adjustment.
Yes, the adjustment is absolutely key, and it's usually creative, even brilliant in its own way. At some point in your life, maybe very early on, or during a really vulnerable time, that interruption was loyal. It wasn't a flaw. It was a survival strategy based on a core, perhaps unconscious belief like, if I feel this fully, I'll fall apart, or if I speak this truth, they'll leave me.
So the creative adjustment was about surviving then. You chose loyalty to the situation, maybe to others, over loyalty to your own impulse. You bit your tongue instead of shouting, smiled when you felt like trying, became really good at saying, it's fine, when things were definitely not fine.
Exactly. And that very adjustment, the pattern that literally saved you from overwhelm or perceived abandonment back then, now it might be the very thing keeping you from feeling fully alive. It keeps that emotional energy stuck, frozen. And the cost now can be pretty high. Maybe an inability to feel deep joy because the mechanism dampens all strong feelings, or just this persistent low-level tension. That wave of original emotion just keeps rising, doesn't it? Gently bumping up against the shore, waiting for you to finally turn towards it and let it break.
So if we're kind of stuck in this loop, this frozen energy state, and we want to unfreeze, what are we actually aiming for? Is closure even the right word? It feels a bit final.
That's a great question. I think we need to retire the word closure, honestly. It often implies forgetting, erasing, like cutting something out. The goal here is more like completion. Completion means integration. It means the energy that was stuck has finally been allowed to move through your system. The feeling has been felt, witnessed, acknowledged. The experience isn't erased. It becomes woven into the larger fabric of who you are now. It informs you, but it doesn't run the show from the shadows anymore.
And the way to get there,
Yeah.
it isn't about fixing something that's broken. It sounds like it's really about awareness.
Awareness, yes, but not just thinking about it, not intellectual analysis. Awareness here is curative because it connects you back to your direct experience, unfiltered. It's about making raw, honest contact with what is right now in your body. That contact itself is where the potential for transformation lies. You don't need to fix the clench, you just need to be truly present with it.
I really appreciate the practical guidance on how to start that reconnection, like actually going back to the physical sensation, the tight jaw, the clenched fist, the heavy chest, and approaching it with gentleness.
Yes, the gentle inquiry, that's paramount.
Yeah.
No forcing, no prying it open. You just gently bring your attention to the tension, the held energy. And you ask it softly, maybe not even with words, but with your breath, your intention. What were you trying to protect me from?
Okay, but when you ask that, how do you know if the answer is coming from your mind's usual stories, like I need to be strong, versus the body's deeper truth, maybe something like, I was terrified of being left alone?
That's a good distinction. The body's answer often feels different. It's usually more visceral, immediate, less of a complex narrative. It might bypass the intellectual reasons and go straight to a core feeling or a primal fear. It feels connected to the breath, to the sensation itself. Listen for the simplicity, the directness. Maybe the felt sense is just collapse or losing control or being too much. There's often a real loyalty in the feeling.
And then, once you get a sense of that deeper reason, the next step isn't to argue with it, but just thank it. Thank that protective part.
A genuine, heartfelt thank you. Yes. Something like, thank you, I see you were trying to keep me safe, and you did. You really helped me get through. This simple act, returning to the interruption point, not to eliminate it, but just to be with it with kindness, sends a radically new message to your nervous system. It says, hey, you know what? You actually can feel this intensity and survive. You can grieve this fully and still be whole.
And that's what allows the softening. The hand doesn't open because you told it to. It opens because the frozen energy inside finally feels seen, feels honored, feels safe enough to maybe relax its guard a little.
That's the heart of it. The real work isn't about rushing past your pain to get to some idealized state of healing or trying to neatly package your grief into spiritual lessons. It's about the courage to keep returning. Returning to the simple truth of what's happening right now in your own skin. The clench softens not by force of will, but because internal trust and safety are being rebuilt, moment by moment.
So we've spent this time really digging into this physical truth of emotional holding, and how we often try to bypass the very thing that's just asking for our attention to complete itself. Which means, if your hand or your jaw or your chest feels still clenched right now listening to this, that's not failure.
Not at all. That's a profound sign of life. It means you're still feeling, still connected to something that matters deeply enough to hold on to. Please don't rush this process. The whole point was never really about achieving some external goal of letting go.
Yeah.
It was always about coming home. Coming home to the part of yourself that has been waiting so patiently, not necessarily for the pain to disappear, but just for your kind, steady presence.
That feels like the real invitation here. You're not broken, you're just beautifully, messily, courageously unfinished. And that incompleteness isn't a problem to be solved, it's just an invitation to be present, to be with it.
Exactly. So if you take just one practice away from our conversation today, maybe let it be this. Find a quiet moment. Find that place in your body that feels held, clenched, tight, and gently place your other hand over it, softly, tenderly, like you're holding the most loyal, waiting part of you. And just whisper